This will be one of the major fights of the next 5 years. The time has come to tell the truth about the corruption of the government employee unions in this country. Let me be clear. Well, I want to define exactly what I just said because it'll strike some people as very strong. I'm using corruption in the same way that Gordon Wood, in his great History of the American Revolution, described it. He said the critique of both the Whigs in Great Britain and of the American revolutionaries, of the British monarchy, was not corruption in the sense of a personal bribe. I mean, you have people like Chris Dodd, but I'm not talking about that. It was a systemic process by which rules were changed so the government got its way in totally inappropriate ways that were a fundamental violation of the Constitution. And they had a mod. The British Constitution is not written, but it's very deep culturally. Now, I'll give you a specific example that I would love to debate, and I would love us to make a centerpiece of the campaign this fall. There was an article in the New Yorker last August called The Rubber Room. It is a study of the fact that the union contract in New York is so destructive and so selfish that it takes up to 7 years to fire a truly bad teacher. And so they've invented rubber rooms, which are rooms where they place the teachers who are so bad they can't allow to be with the students. Now, the annual cost of this room is $50 million a year in New York alone. And that's understating it because the teachers who are sitting there waiting to be fired, having been found incompetent, are actually getting a pension increase every year they wait while they're sitting there. Sick is the right word. I mean, this is what I mean by corrupt. So I think we should wage a campaign on a simple premise. We should challenge every Democrat in the country. Everybody who believes that we're better off spending $50 million on people who can't teach in order to keep them sitting so the union's happy, they're on one side. Everybody who believes that $50 million spent in poor neighborhoods to help poor children learn how to read and write so they can go to college instead of prison, they're on this side. Our friends on the left will say this is all too strong. And I say, let's get it on. Let's debate anywhere in America, at any place, and let's take on these issues. Let's talk about the systemic corruption of Sacramento and the degree to which, in fact, it's time to clean house in California and get the state back on the real ground. Let's talk about the bipartisan failures in Albany and the fact that it's time to get back on the right track. And by the way, it couldn't be better in New Jersey than to elect a former prosecutor as governor because that's the right attitude.